Do you really know how many licks it takes to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, and that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my extremely squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys about the future and guessing the future, speculating the future, as it were. In today's video, I'd like to talk about the Hasbro earnings report for Q4 2025, specifically about one panel of the presentation that they did where they were discussing their upcoming and expanding partnerships. Because Hasbro, as a larger company with lots of products on offer, really, they partner with a lot of brands. But the four brands they showed off in the presentation were pretty interesting. Three of them I'm fairly familiar with, one of which I'm not, and all four of them, I think, lend themselves well to speculation about the future, not just in terms of what Hasbro could be doing with them, but what Wizards of the Coast might be doing with them, especially since two of them, I think, actually, are products Wizards has worked with before. So, for those of you who don't know, four expanding partnerships, new partnerships, whatever, have been announced today. Harry Potter, K-pop Demon Hunters, Street Fighter, and Voltron. Voltron. That's a name that you just don't hear a whole lot these days. So these are all interesting. Now, these are specifically called out as Hasbro partnerships, not Wizards of the Coast partnerships. But Wizards is a subsidiary of Hasbro, and it's very likely that Hasbro will use their licenses with these IPs to push out some sort of either Magic Universes Beyond set, which is very possible, especially since Street Fighter already has a Universes Beyond set, but possibly like a board game or some kind of crossover set, whatever has you. For Harry Potter, for instance, this is very interesting because we know that Wizards has already done a Harry Potter property before, because Wizards, way back in the day, in the early 2000s, they made the Harry Potter TCG, which is a long dead but very fun, very enjoyable TCG that kind of plays like it's like Magic Light, almost, is a good way to describe it. You play your lesson cards instead of basic lands to cast your spells and summon creatures and do damage to your opponent, but there's some pretty important differences. Instead of life totals, there's the deck to be extinguished. There's a very loud train blasting through town right now. That's annoying. There's some other differences too, such as a very consistent art style, which really set itself apart. And overall, just felt like kind of a simpler game, where things could really get out of hand if you weren't smart. I actually played with a buddy of mine the Harry Potter TCG this previous weekend. Got my butt kicked, but had a lot of fun doing it. Street Fighter, like I said, had its own Universes Beyond secret lair. They could feasibly make an entire Street Fighter set, honestly, if they wanted to. Street Fighter is a large franchise with a pretty broad cast of characters now. There's plenty of material there, especially if you take the Udon comics into account and all the extra stuff that comes from there. They could easily, in my opinion, make at least a small set, like a Spider-Man sized set or an Assassin's Creed sized set just for Street Fighter. K-pop Demon Hunters, I know basically nothing about. It is a movie that I have seen scenes from, but I don't think I've watched it. If I did, I forgot entirely about it, which is not a great sign, but hey. I'm told it's popular. I'm told I should give it a real try, but I've got a very long bucket list, especially my anime bucket list is huge. I have a small brick of OVAs I need to go through at some point. And then finally, there's Voltron. Speaking of anime, Voltron, one of the granddaddies of big, awesome combiner robots. I remember the old Voltron cartoons. That stuff was crazy. In theory, that could be a very easy secret layer crossover as well. But these don't necessarily have to be secret layer crossovers. The Harry Potter thing could easily be a board game. There have been all kinds of Harry Potter board games in the last 20 years. Street Fighter could be something like Universes, its own self-contained fighting game, or a board game, or something like that. K-pop Demon Hunters could easily be, I'm assuming, a board game. Voltron, though, I think Voltron would lend itself well to a Secret Lair or a Secret Lair type product. These don't necessarily have to be Magic the Gathering crossovers that they're doing here, but again, Magic really is kind of the outlet that Hasbro uses to cash in on the licenses they've been fostering. Especially since, like, my big conspiracy theory, this is the conspiracy theory I believe 100%. All right, I've got zero proof of this, okay? But I believe this 100%, okay? My belief is that the Walking Dead Secret Lair came about because way back in the day, Hasbro negotiated for a Walking Dead license when the show was really popular. They didn't do anything with it, and so when the license was about to expire, I don't know if it's actually expired or not. None of this is anything I would know. My belief is that they put out the Secret Lair for The Walking Dead just to cash in on a licensing deal that they never used for anything else. That's what I believe. There might be zero evidence for that. I could be super wrong, but that's just something I firmly believe. And that could be what ends up happening here, where they get Voltron and K-pop Demon Hunters and Street Fighter, and they don't end up doing anything with it, especially not in the world of Magic. They don't have to do anything with Magic. But Harry Potter, Street Fighter is one of the most recognizable fighting games of all time. To not do something with that would be incredibly silly, I think, and could just be action figures. Street Fighter action figures is totally something that Hasbro could do. Harry Potter is one of the most recognizable brands of all time, had an extremely successful movie line. The books are part of many people's childhoods. They're still very popular to this day with loads of fans. A Harry Potter crossover set for Magic the Gathering would be a slam dunk. On par, if not greater than Lord of the Rings, especially since a lot of the Lord of the Rings fans are older on average. Whereas Harry Potter fans, in my experience, tend to steer towards the younger side, but a lot of them just kind of, I wouldn't say they steer younger, but it's kind of like Animorphs, You're really into it when you're a kid, and when you're an adult, you're just kind of, Oh, they should do an Animorphs thing. There's a free idea for you, Wizards of the Coast. Do Animorphs Secret Lairs. That'd be stupid. It could just be the mutate mechanic all over again. Ugh. But yeah, there's a lot that they could, in theory, do with this. I'm told that K-pop Demon Hunters is a very good movie with a lot of fans. Voltron is something. It's something. Voltron is definitely a big... it was kind of a sensation for a while there. I don't know if it still is now. At the very least, this is the first time I've heard Voltron as a word for a while. It doesn't come up in regular conversations. But there's a lot of possibilities, and I think the most likely one is each of these gets either a Secret Lair for Magic the Gathering or a set onto itself. It would be very foolish, I think, for Hasbro to get the Harry Potter license and to not make a Harry Potter Magic the Gathering set. It's like back when Strixhaven was made, people thought that was what Strixhaven was going to be. They thought it was going to be a big Harry Potter crossover set, and that the Universes Beyond cards for that set were going to be Harry Potter. That's what everyone thought, but it never happened. I don't know, maybe the deal fell through, or maybe the licensing never appeared, or whatever, but now they have it, and there's a new Strixhaven set on the horizon. So maybe the new Strixhaven set has Harry Potter cards. Who knows? Or maybe they'll revive the old Harry Potter TCG. That'd be a kind of awesome thing. They could totally, in theory, do that. They could bring the old card game back and give it new sets. There are fan-made sets for that card game that people play with. People enjoy it quite a lot, at least from my understanding. And yeah, in theory, they could totally bring that old card game back, give it some tournament structure, make a few bucks on it, and just have a really fun time with it. In theory. I don't know all the actual licenses for the artists and the integration of the card structure and all that jazz. I wouldn't actually know if it's possible, but in theory, it could happen. But yeah, I suppose I'm really curious what you guys think, because this is all highly speculative. I don't actually know what they're doing with these properties. I have no idea what they could even theoretically do. I can just kind of guess, and there's a lot of guessing that can go around, but at the end of the day, what matters is they have the opportunity to make some really interesting products that are, especially, again, Harry Potter, huge IP. There's loads of people my age and younger who grew up with Harry Potter as one of their introductions to fantasy, to fiction in general. So I think to not utilize that to the best of their ability, especially with a secret layer or its own dedicated set, would be very silly. But hey, what do I know? Let me know in the comment section. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Let me know down below. Please like, share, and subscribe, all that jazz. Check out the Discord, although probably not for much longer. Check out the Patreon. And yeah, that's all I got for you kids today. Ciao. See you next time. Buenos dias. Au revoir. How many more ways to say goodbye do I know? Doesn't matter. See ya.